My name is Francisco Jose. I reside in San Pedro, a member of the Shukswag district. And people have been asking me a lot of questions. A few of us, all of them, I've heard these complaints for, I believe it's since 2006-07, since the last payout of the per capita, where that's at, and are wondering why the nation is always getting a cost of living, getting bonuses. They pass petitions to request for bonuses, when on just in these past few years they've been saying that they're out of funds. It's hard for them to support this kind of thing. They need the money. But there have been a number of things that the council has passed that require a lot of money, and they've been finding the money. Just recently, a couple of weeks ago, I was questioning at their council meeting how some of the programs in the tribe have leftover monies of 500,000 plus. And for instance, that was in education, I believe it was. And I'm going, well, we've heard so many complaints about there's not enough money for scholarships, assistance, and you have that much money left over. So those are the kind of questions we've been getting. Well, I've been hearing for a number of years, why we're not getting a per cap. And I begin to wonder myself. I would say, well, the people really haven't seen anything positive as far as programs. I explained about education, and only it seems the council and the programs, or whatever the priority is for the nation, get money, and we're left out. Just recently, it's taken a few years, even just getting a commodity truck, and if that's not a priority for those people that are subsidized by the commodity foods, then what do they spend their money on? There's those kinds of questions, and the people, they're not unthinking people. They see with their eyes what's going on. They question it. They just don't have the wherewithal to approach the government to ask why. And so they feel that they need something to take care of themselves, because when you ask for help from any district, that there are formalities you have to go through. There is a process. There is a form you fill out. You go to meetings to get help. And so they're asking, well, why don't we get a little money where we can probably get something we've needed for years or can do something with? And to me, that's a reasonable question, because through the years I've seen that. And I know that in the beginning, probably that wasn't a good idea, but we never knew which way the government was going to go. And now the people are crying out, when do we get a piece of the money that the casino's making? There was legislation, but the legislation or the initiative that was passed, the language in there is real, it's loose. You can put holes in it, the argument, and that's what they've been doing. They understand what was meant by it, but legally they've been able to put holes in it, and so the people that made it then were more common. And they were just thinking of the people, and in doing so, they didn't see what was coming years down the road, which now the council since then, the chairman since then, have just used the loose language to get through it, above it, underneath it, over it, and have more or less taking that money, that per cap money that was being saved, away. And yet that wasn't the original intent. Yeah, those youth got quite a bit of money because of the savings that was set aside back when the initiative was passed. And I can't really, I mean, most people would say that a lot of that money is wasted, but they're entitled, because everybody that were old enough got the initiative. They did what they could with that money, and I guess maybe I'll use myself an example. How about a pair of couches with that, with that money, you know? And that's what I mean. Some people use it well. We can't control everything like that. But the monies that were set aside for the children, you know, some of the children that are now of age have used it positively. I know of several students that have taken that money and paid for their first year of school. And so that's up to them. You know, they're adults now. And if their parents, if they listened to their parents and they got good instruction, they probably did very well with those per capita payments. But, you know, it's not for us to control. That was the intent of the initiative, to give everyone a share for themselves so they can get money firsthand without the bureaucratic systems, without the forums, without the say-sos of anybody, just straight out. And they haven't seen it in a while. It's a constant cry. I mean, in the years that we haven't gotten it, there's always that question when you go to a public hearing. For whatever the public hearing is for, people are asking, when are we going to get a per capita payment? And nobody has really addressed it, other than they've heard the politicians say, you know, we don't have the money right now. But on the other hand, they've heard on the radio, they've seen it. Well, where are they getting all their money doing this other stuff? Yet they have monies to do a whole bunch of the bonuses, which is extra money, and people aren't getting it. So that's where the question comes from. And after all these years, they're entitled to something. They haven't gotten anything. And it will help some people, not a whole lot. But it will give them a little satisfaction in understanding that, hey, my government, in its wisdom, gave me a little money. You know, may not be a lot, but at least it may signify that I'm still part of the nation.
So tell us about the response you've gotten on the initiative, the petition to take this to the council.
I think right now it's coming along. It's slow because there aren't many of us doing it. We didn't want it to become political. It was just a question that people wanted. In the same line as I mentioned, the commodity foods truck. You know, one of the individuals wrote an article, put it in the paper, to raise that question, and it raised some awareness that you know, people were concerned about, you know, the commodity foods truck. By the same token, you know, we're doing it because we're trying to raise that awareness for people that there is something you can do about it. As a whole unit, as a group of people saying, hey, we want our per capita payment. Do something to give us a per capita payment, because they feel they're being ignored. In the process of getting signatures, this past weekend I ran into some young people, and when they signed it, one of the comments, or a couple of comments I heard from young people, probably in their early 20s, made a comment and said, yeah, we can't let all the politicians have all this money. You know, we got to get our share. And that may not be as clear, but you get the understanding is that what they see, what they don't know where that money is going, but they have an idea because they read reports. You know, they've heard it someplace. And they have eyes to see. They have eyes to see. You never ignore people. People see what you're doing, how you behave, where you're at, and your actual concern. The concern is in the actions you take, and they don't see those actions. That's why they're making those comments. They may not have a full picture, but that's the picture they get from what they see. So they probably aren't getting the response from those people, their representative, those people that are dealing with these things. So they need to voice their opinion, and this is the way to voice their opinion, to do the initiative.
So how do they?
I mean, they can call me. My phone number is 240-2214. If I'm not there, that's my cell phone number. If I'm not there, I look at all my phone calls every day. Give me a call, and I will try to get you a petition. My home phone number is 383-3015. If you call me, I will try to get you a petition. I can try to get somebody close to you to give you a petition. We're a very small group of people, and we're just trying to see also on our part, are people actually concerned about the per capita payment? And from the ones that have signed it and that I've gotten, yes, they are. They're very much so. I believe people have been told, well, you're not going to get it. That may be so. That may be so, but if you don't try, then you will never know. And so it's up to you to make an effort. And you to do that is to sign this petition.
So is there an opposition? Are you getting people that don't want to sign it, and what's their reason for not wanting to sign it?
I believe I've just heard. I haven't gotten I've gotten a couple of rejections, but those were politicians, you know, and I don't know what their viewpoint is because they've never said. They just said they don't want to sign it. But and again, you know, I believe in my mind they think it's political. It isn't. It's a question. And if it was political, we'd be at the district meetings trying to sell this idea. No, we're just going to individuals. That's why I said, you know, we're not everywhere. We're not in any offices. We're just going around. And we're not subsidized by anybody. This is all coming out of our pockets. We're not asking for payment. We're just asking the question that people have been bringing forth. Where's our per capita? And I think that if this fails, you can start a new initiative. You know, they talk about the new casino. Everybody's waiting for that, and if so, then maybe you should put something in process. You know, so you can be part of that also. You know, it just causes the initiative is there doesn't say that you're going to get anything the way it's written. So and you can't leave it. You can't leave that kind of stuff to people to say that you can trust them. I mean, that was the original initiative. I think there was a lot of trust involved, and I don't believe that governments have lived up to that trust. And so that's where it's at. So to us, it's not political. It's just a question. It's the same question as where's the commodity foods from? You know, it's those kinds of things that if you don't ask, you won't know.